Welcome once again, my friends, to another exciting episode of WWE 2K22 Fantasy Warfare. I am your host, Bloody Bill Vox, and tonight starts Viewers' Choice Month. Of course, 5 out of the 6 matches this week were chosen by the viewers. We've got that one pesky match where we've got a feud so intense that we've got to settle it this week here in Fantasy Warfare. But we do have 5 matches chosen by our viewers as part of Viewers' Choice Month here in Fantasy Warfare. But let's not waste any more time talking about Viewers' Choice Month. Let's share with you some of the matches the viewers chose to take place this week here in Fantasy Warfare. Our action will kick off inside of a steel cage when the managers of the Macho Man Randy Savage go to war. it will be Miss Elizabeth going one-on-one with Sensational Sherri. And then in our first rematch in Fantasy Warfare history, it will be a ladder match for the WWF Winged Eagle Championship when Shawn Michaels defends his championship against Seth Rollins. Our third match of the week will see singles action as AJ Lee returns to Fantasy Warfare to go up against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Our fourth match of the week will see a last man standing match for the ECW World Championship when Mankind goes up against Darby Allin. Our fifth match of the week will be for the WWF Intercontinental Championship, a battle of the bald men, black trunks, and black boots as Goldberg goes up against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then in our main event of the week, the only match that was not chosen by the viewers, it will be an Extreme Rules match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship as Kenny Omega defends his championship against Roman Reigns. We've got an exciting week ahead. We've got a lot of things on tap for you, but let's not waste any more time here, my friends. Let's head on down to the ring for the steel cage match between Miss Elizabeth and Sensational Sherri. Welcome down to ringside for another episode of Fantasy Warfare. This week it's all about viewers' choices, and what a match we're starting off with.
The following contest is a steel cage match. Making her way to the ring from Kentucky, Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth, the First Lady of Professional Wrestling, the longtime manager and real-life wife of the Macho Man Randy Savage. It was in the lead-up to WrestleMania 5 that her partnership with the Macho Man Randy Savage would begin to splinter as the Mega Powers exploded when Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan could no longer team together over Hogan's lust in his eyes for Elizabeth. And it was in the wake of the explosion of the Mega Powers after WrestleMania 5 that the Macho Man Randy Savage would unveil a new manager, our next participant in this cage match.
And from Birmingham, Alabama,
there you see sensational Queen Sherri making her way to the ring. She would become the next manager of the Macho Man Randy Savage after WrestleMania 5. And when the Macho Man Randy Savage would win the King's Crown of the World Wrestling Federation, he would become the Macho King, and she would become the Sensational Queen, and they would reign over the WWF Kingdom until WrestleMania 7, when the Macho Man Randy Savage would have his career ended temporarily at the hands of the Ultimate Warrior. And it was after the match when Sensational Sherri felt that her meal ticket had disappeared that she turned on the Macho Man Randy Savage, and it was Miss Elizabeth who came running from the stands at the LA Memorial Sports Stadium, to run to the aid of the Macho Man Randy Savage. And of course, one always wondered what would happen if Liz and Sherri ever stepped foot into the ring to go to battle with each other. And we are finding out the answers to that here today on Fantasy Warfare. One of 5 viewers' choice matches here this week, as we noted at the top of the show. One of our matches this week is not a viewer's choice. It is a feud that has been going on since our 6th episode of Fantasy Warfare. These two men have brawled all over the place at every single Fantasy Warfare event. Last week we finally had cameras catching up with it. Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega will meet in tonight's main event in an Extreme Rules match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But what a way to start things off this week here on Fantasy Warfare with a steel cage match, the old classic blue. Who's going to walk away here? Which manager of the Macho Man Randy Savage will walk away with the bragging rights of being the better of the two? Of course, Sensational Sherri has lengthy history in the ring as an active competitor, a former AWA and WWF Women's Champion. Miss Elizabeth, as you can tell, she's in her evening gown. She's not quite a regular competitor in the world of professional wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see how she fares here, especially where she's working in heels. Oh, big time elbow drop by Sensational Sherri off the top rope on Miss Elizabeth. Elizabeth backing Sherri off with an elbow. Oh, nice suplex into a knee and then a springboard moonsault. I guess Liz has been getting some training, maybe. Maybe old Miss Elizabeth got some training leading into this steel cage match with Sensational Sherri, because she's impressive right here. 100% impressive as she is now picking away at the body of Sensational Sherri. Stomping. Wow, what a spot to stomp with heels, let me tell you. That's a spot to stomp, and now Liz going back to ripping out the arm of Sensational Sherri. Who knew that Miss Elizabeth was quite the technician? Almost looks like something out of the playbook of Alexa Bliss. Maybe they hit the Fantasy Warfare Workout Center together. Well, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because Liz keeps going back to the well on that one. But it's working. Sherri's not countering it. Sherri is in a bad way. Liz continues to just beat on the arm and the back. And now we've got a Cobra Clutch cross-face by Miss Elizabeth on Sensational Sherri. The Queen, though, is able to throw some elbows, breaks herself free of that hold. That was surprisingly put on at the hands of Miss Elizabeth. Now, something interesting of note in this particular cage match, as you've heard this commentator complain about, I hate the escape. So in Fantasy Warfare, we have removed the escape rule from the classic steel cage match. Anytime you see old Big Blue, it's pinfalls and submissions only. Snap suplex by Sherri takes Miss Elizabeth down. We've got 5 other matches, as we noted this week. Coming up next will be the first rematch in Fantasy Warfare history, a ladder match, just as the first time these two met. It will be Shawn Michaels and Seth Rollins for the WWF Winged Eagle Championship. Prior to Fantasy Warfare being full-length episodes, Shawn Michaels and Seth Rollins met in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Here today, it's the first rematch in the history of Fantasy Warfare as requested by the viewers. Oh, nice punch there by Liz. We got a cover, and that's all we get is a cover, not a 3 count, because Sensational Sherri kicks out. Sherri hits the ropes. Ooh, nice shot to the side of the head, kicking Liz right in the face. Sherri now, she gets the legs swept out from underneath her. Liz stomps on the arm again. Miss Elizabeth has been very smart about sticking to the exact same spots, going back to the well time and time again, but it's been effective, and she just nailed a Kinshasa out of absolutely nowhere on Sensational Sherri, and that's all she wrote, as Miss Elizabeth picks up the victory here in this steel cage match to kick things off here this week in the first of our 4 Viewers' Choice episodes. What a way to start things off as we take a look back at some of the highlights of this one. But the action this week is going to continue on as we will take a quick pause, and then we will be back with our first rematch in Fantasy Warfare history. It's Shawn Michaels and Seth Rollins in a ladder match, and it's coming up next.
Here is your winner, Miss Elizabeth. The following contest is a ladder match and is for the WWE Championship.
Welcome back down to ringside. It is time for the first ladder match in Fantasy Warfare history. Seth Rollins looking to take the WWF Championship off the hands of the current title holder, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. These two met in one of our first standalone match postings on youtube.com/@BloodyBillVox before we were doing full episodes. And it was one hell of a barn burner then, and one can expect it to be another bit of a barn burner now. Seth Rollins, one of the most popular superstars in all of WWE. As the crowd loves singing along to this track, that is for sure. Whoop. Pardon that one. We had another audio source randomly go live if that got picked up. To be frankly honest, totally transparent, I didn't have it in my notes who won the original matchup between Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels. It's that brief audio source that you might have heard. I'm not quite sure if you even heard it. That's from the original. And it was in that one that Shawn Michaels came up short as well that day, unable to defeat Seth Rollins in the original ladder match. So what will happen here today as Shawn Michaels once again defends a championship against Seth Rollins? You see the Heartbreak Kid entering the ring without his championship gold. It is already suspended above the ring here in Orlando, Florida for Fantasy Warfare this week. Shawn Michaels will look to avenge that loss as Seth Rollins is pacing on the floor waiting for this ladder match to get started. Of course, the only way to win a ladder match is to climb the ladder, retrieve the belt, and pull it down to be your own. There you see it hanging above the ring here in Orlando. And there's a nice up-close picture of the belt we're going to be brawling over here today. Anything goes, no disqualifications, no pinfalls, no countouts. Hell, if you get knocked out, that's too damn bad. That means your opponent's going to climb the ladder and beat you. As this ladder match is officially underway, Shawn Michaels and Seth Rollins. Shawn Michaels right away driving that knee into the gut, and then a series of kicks to Seth Rollins down on the mat, and Shawn Michaels going to waste no time heading up to the top rope, taking things aerial. Calling for Rollins to get up to his feet. What's he going to do to him? Comes down off the top rope with a double axe handle and slides right out to the floor. And it appears Shawn Michaels is, all right, thought maybe he was giving a look at that ladder, but changed his mind. Guess maybe he decided it's a little too early to be grabbing for a ladder. I might be inclined to agree with him. Although the object of this match is to grab the ladder and win. You might want to beat your opponent up just a little bit before you start trying to climb a ladder and put yourself out there and have the risk of being attacked and thrown off the ladder. Shawn Michaels willing to take that risk as he climbs to the top of the ladder and decides to do nothing. Boot to the midsection by Seth Rollins, who met Michaels coming down off the ladder. Nice shot to the gut, dropped the Heartbreak Kid. Seth Rollins climbing up to the top of the ladder. He reaches for the belt. He's grabbing it down. Trying to pick the old lock at the top there. Not quite sure why they put a combination lock with the championship belt, but that's kind of what it looks like they're doing up there, is picking a combination lock. It's the lock to the championship as Michaels and Rollins brawl it out on top of the ladder. This is dangerous territory for both men to be. Trading chops back and forth. Hitting some, missing the others. It is a back and forth battle between these two on top of the ladder. Rollins hits, he hits again. Oh, Michaels moves that time. Hard forearm shot, rattles Seth Rollins. He tried for a chop to the face and missed. These two guys just brawling literally throwing chops back and forth here on the top of the ladder. This could be dangerous in terms of the outcome of the match. Shawn Michaels drops. Seth Rollins has got his hands on the belt. He's picking the combo lock. And now Shawn Michaels throws the ladder and catches him down with a power bomb on top of the ladder. How disgusting. Michaels with the flying forearm shot drops Seth Rollins right down to the mat, and now Michaels is tuning up the band, looking for Sweet Chin music. Can he hit it? Oh, there it is. The Sweet Chin music drops Seth Rollins to the mat. This could be what Michaels needs to go pick the combo lock for a good couple of moments. He's now heading up to the top of the ladder, but he is going to the tippy top of the ladder. Big time splash, but he gets knees for his troubles as Seth Rollins saw that one coming and then drops the Heartbreak Kid with a nice forearm shot to the jaw. Boot to the midsection. Rollins hits the ropes and big time curb stomp by Rollins. Rollins now climbing up to the top of the ladder. He's got the belt in his possession, picking the old combo lock, looking to make it happen. Looks like he's having a hard time up there. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a little success. It looks like he's having. Seth Rollins really trying to pick that combo lock. Shawn Michaels now is stirring. He's grabbing after. He's going for him. Oh, the belt just flew around. Seth Rollins falls down off the ladder as Shawn Michaels now up to the top rope. And fist drop, but nobody home for that one. Nasty German suplex by Seth Rollins. Ooh, I thought we were getting a neck breaker on that one, but no neck breaker for that one. Michaels now dazed, confused, falls down to a knee. Rollins is just huffing and puffing. What happened? I'm not sure. Seth Rollins does get a knee to the side of Shawn Michaels' head. Now forearm to the back. Michaels now into the corner. Seth Rollins, what's he going to do here? Oh, complete shot into the corner. Rollins now on top of the ladder. He's got the belt in his hands. This could be all he needs to secure the championship and take home yet another ladder match victory. There it is. Another ladder match victory for Seth Rollins as he is able to defeat Shawn Michaels here today in Fantasy Warfare. Yet again, the first rematch in Fantasy Warfare history, and Seth Rollins wins the WWF Winged Eagle Championship. But coming up next, it'll be singles action as the ladies take center stage when AJ Lee goes one-on-one with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Welcome back to ringside here in Orlando. Singles action time as the ladies take to the ring here in Fantasy Warfare.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from New York, AJ Lee.
AJ Lee making her Fantasy Warfare debut as part of the Royals of the Ring tournament. Now returning to Fantasy Warfare action at the request of the viewers here this week, going one-on-one with the former AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. AJ Lee has largely been inactive in the world of professional wrestling outside of some involvement with WOW Women's of Wrestling, serving in an authority-type role within that company. But after her in-ring retirement in 2015 from WWE due to some back troubles, she's remained largely out of the wrestling spotlight, but here in Fantasy Warfare, she's thrusting herself right back in. But what an opponent she has.
Brittany Baker.
The opponent she's got on her hands is the Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Looking to pick up a huge victory in Fantasy Warfare this week by defeating a legend of the ring in AJ Lee. And some people might scoff at that statement, considering how short AJ Lee's career was, but the fact that we are still talking about her over 8 years, or near 8 years from her retirement, speaks volumes of how impactful her career was, not only in the ring, but also as a on-screen personality during her time with World Wrestling Entertainment. The music has faded out. Both women are ready. The referee is, there it is, calls for the bell. This one's officially underway. Our third match of the week here in Fantasy Warfare. Viewer's choice for the first 5. Of course, our main event is such a heated grudge that we had to break the viewer's choice rule just for this one. Extreme rules for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It will be Kenny Omega defending his championship against Roman Reigns. But that one is still a bit of ways away. We are in our third match of the night as AJ Lee breaks free of that submission hold with a couple of well-placed shots to the jaw. Surprised the referee didn't step in until they open up those fists, the old closed fist rule in wrestling. No rule about closed fists to the sternum, though. You punch somebody's sternum till they're purple in the chest, and it's a-okay. But if you punch somebody in their face, the referee's going to come in and be like, hey, open it up. I don't know, man. Wrestling rules can be kind of weird sometimes. As AJ Lee is on the floor stomping on the back of Britt Baker. And now the referee officially begins his 10 count. Standard rules do apply in this one. And we have yet to see any sort of weird finish here in Fantasy Warfare all throughout Season 1 of Fantasy Warfare. There have been no countouts. There's been no disqualifications. And as you know, there are no retakes. There are no reshoots. When these events tape, we take the first take. Doesn't matter if it's a good match or bad match. We don't Vince McMahon it over here. We don't walk out and say, this match is terrible, do it over. Or we say, it starts sucking at this point, shoot it over from here, and we'll edit it later. No, no, no. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. It's part of what makes Fantasy Warfare what it is. But we avoid that first count out here in Fantasy Warfare as Britt Baker got back in the ring before the referee reached the count of 9, and she was greeted by AJ Lee. But Britt Baker able to knock AJ Lee out of the corner with a nice shot to the sternum. Over the top rope. Did you see the torque of AJ Lee as she flew over the top rope on that one? Britt Baker wasting no time, following AJ out to the floor. Referee resumes the count. Referee not playing around here today. Not giving these two any bit of leeway. He wants that action to be in the ring, and I can't say I blame him. A match of this magnitude between two high-profile talents in the world of professional wrestling. I definitely would like to see a decisive victor here today in this matchup between AJ Lee and Britt Baker. AJ has returned to the ring. Referee now reaches the count of 4. Looks like Britt Baker is about to do the same. Nope, still taking a breather, taking her time. She does have till 10, folks. And Britt now back in the ring. She gets caught by AJ in a lockup. Nothing happens on that one. Irish whip sends AJ over the top rope and back down to the floor once more. We've got one hell of a contest coming up next as the action spills back out to the floor with this one. The ECW Championship will be decided for the first time here in Fantasy Warfare. It will be a last man standing match requested by viewers months ago. This one took a while to make it into the rotation, but it was one of the first ones we chose. Hence why it's in the first of our 4 Viewers' Choice episodes. This match requested by the viewers will be Mankind going one-on-one with Darby Allin. Again, it will be a last man standing match for the ECW Championship. Whoever wins this one will be walking around Fantasy Warfare with the ECW gold. These two continuing to trade shots on the floor. I almost wonder if maybe they should have petitioned to have a no DQ or no holds barred or something like that, because they are just continuing to take the action out to the floor. Britt Baker with the gnarly stomp on AJ Lee. This could be all for AJ's victory hopes here this week in Fantasy Warfare, but no, it's not. AJ Lee able to kick out before the count of 3. gnarly Superman punch there by AJ Lee, who follows it up with a Kinshasa. Maybe her and Liz would hit the training gym together. Covered by AJ on the doctor, but Britt Baker's able to kick out. The crowd here in Orlando appreciating the efforts of Britt Baker and AJ Lee, showering them with a "We're Not Worthy" chant. Britt Baker getting her ribs caved in. It would appear that Liz and AJ Lee definitely hit the training gym together. They get some similar moves there. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Irish whip sends Britt Baker off the ropes. Collision in the center. Looks like they might have knocked heads. Britt tried for a discus forearm. Springboard bulldog by AJ. Now we've got a camel clutch by AJ Lee on Britt Baker. Could this be all? Will she make her tap out? Great ring positioning. She's dead in the center of the ring. She got nowhere to go, but AJ lets go of that one. Oh. Kicking her in the face with the chucks. That was gross. Sling blade by Britt Baker. Sling blade coming from absolutely out of nowhere. Britt Baker stomps to the midsection. Could it be time for Lockjaw City? Yes, it is. Lockjaw City. She's got her in. She's got her locked. She's got nowhere to go. She can't reach in. She taps out. Britt Baker gets the victory over AJ Lee here this week. What a victory by the doctor, making AJ Lee tap out to the lockjaw. The action this week here at Fantasy Warfare is going to continue. Coming up next, it's going to be a wild one. There's no rules. There's no pinfalls. There's no submissions. There's no DQs. There's no countouts. Doesn't matter where the ending happens so long as one man is unable to reach their feet by the count of 10. Coming up next, it's a last man standing match for the ECW Championship when Mankind steps in to do war with Darby Allin. It's coming up next here on Fantasy Warfare.
Here is your winner, Brittany Baker.
Welcome back. This one ought to be wild. Last man standing rules here on Fantasy Warfare.
The following contest is a last man standing match and is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. Making his way to the ring from Seattle, Washington, weighing in at 173 pounds.
Darby Allin making his way out to the ring here to do battle with a man who might be just as sadistic, if not more sadistic, than he is. And here he comes.
And his opponent from parts unknown, weighing in at 329 pounds,
Mankind making his way out to the ring here for a last man standing match, a match he is all too familiar with. He's familiar with all types of the different violent matches in professional wrestling, and today will be no different here in this last man standing war set to take center stage as the action continues this week in Fantasy Warfare. Mankind will look to be the last man standing here over Darby Allin so that he can walk away with the ECW World Championship. And of course that begs the question of what happens with all the championships as Season 1 comes to an end and we move over to WWE 2K23 in April? Well, the answer to that one's pretty simple. All the champions will remain. There may be some unification of titles depending on what championships are actually available in WWE 2K23. However, if somebody ends Season 1 with a championship, they will remain a champion entering into Season 2 unless they lose their title in the off-season or unless their championship is unified with another title. As the referee rings the bell, we are officially underway in this one. It's a last man standing match, so no pinfalls, no countouts, no submissions, no knockouts, nothing other than a 10 count in the end. If you don't reach your feet by the count of 10, you lose. It's a pretty simple way to get victory, although it's not as simple as it sounds, especially when you're talking about the likes of Darby Allin and Mankind in the ring, where the object is to basically try and knock your opponent out for that 10 count. These two men have been proven to go to great lengths in order to inflict pain on their opponents and themselves. That's got to be why the viewers wanted to see this one take place when we first asked for viewer requests months ago. We've been working through a lot of those viewer requests, believe it or not. Many of the matches that you do see each and every week, somebody may have asked for one or two of those here and there. Nice shot to the jaw by Darby Allin, followed up with a European and then a kick to the spine, and a DDT drives Mankind into the mat. Springboard coffin drop. Springboard coffin drop, but Darby is not looking to start getting the referee counting yet. He is continuing to inflict that damage on Mankind, going behind. Nice lariat, folds Mankind inside out on that one. And now the referee is officially starting their 10 count. Darby Allin looking to be satisfied here. And I mean, why wouldn't you take a quick victory over Mankind? Getting a quick victory in a last man standing match is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, as I say that, Darby decides to make me look like an idiot and picks Mankind up to his feet. And Mankind makes him pay for it by throwing him spine first into the turnbuckles and then out to the center of the ring. Nice fist drop by the deranged one. And a kick to almost the base of the neck and the shoulder blades before getting down, raining down with those punches. Darby with a wheelbarrow DDT. Nice wheelbarrow DDT by Darby Allin onto Mankind. Darby climbing up to the top rope. Oh, modified coffin drop. This time more of a senton style. And Mankind is down. Will this be enough? I personally don't think Mankind has been put through enough for him to say, you know what, I don't think I can make it back up to my feet. I think I better stay down today and live to fight another day. I don't think we've reached that point with Mankind yet. So if I had to predict, I'm guessing Mankind's going to get up to his feet. And there it was. He started moving, so Darby looked to strike fast, and he paid, eating those knees after a standing shooting star press attempt. Uh-oh. It's the pulling pile driver, spiking Darby Allin's skull right into the mat, and now the referee on top of Darby Allin with his count. Could that be enough to keep Darby down? I think my answer is much the same as when I just gave it to Mankind, reaching that near 10 count a moment ago. I don't think Darby is done. I don't think enough has been done to this guy. A guy that will literally get in a car and drive it full speed into a brick wall to see if he flies through the windshield. And he disturbs the count at the count of 8. So this last man standing match will continue. Standing shooting star that time connects, unlike the previous attempt where Darby Allin ate a pair of Mankind knees. And now the referee is once again starting that 10 count. I don't think these guys have tortured each other enough. I know I'm just some bum up in a commentary booth watching this from up above, watching down below what's going on, watching all the chaos. Better yet, I'm watching it on a monitor to boot. And I'm sitting here commenting on whether or not I feel like these guys have tortured each other enough. Not enough for me and my bloodlust. Darby is letting the referee count on this one. Very smart. I would not disrupt a count on Mankind. You know, he did disrupt that count earlier on, and I think that was a big mistake on his part. This time, Mankind reaches at a count of 8. He's actually getting a little better, and he just snaps right the hell into the mandible claw. Holy crap, that came out of nowhere. Of course, there are no submissions in this one, no pinfalls either, so the mandible claw really is just a means of putting Darby down. Referee now starting the 10 count. We'll say, is Mankind even going to let this happen? Referee reaching the count of 5. Darby's arm is stirring there, so I don't think Darby's going to be down on this one. I think Darby's going to make it back up to his feet, and he does. At the count of 8, Darby gets met with a nice couple of right hooks by Mankind, who follows it up with a side suplex, dropping Darby on the back of his head, which allows the referee to once again start their 10 count.
3, 4.
Referee at a count of 4. Count of 5.
6.
We've reached 6.
7.
We've got 7. Do we got? No, we don't got 8. I was about to start playing auctioneer with the counts, and Darby's like, nah, I don't want to hear your auctioneer impression. Or maybe he does. He just wanted to hear it with him in the favor.
3.
We've got 3. Do I got 4? Do I got 4? Do I got 4? We got 4. Do I got 5? Nope, I don't got 5. I don't got 5. I don't got 5. I don't think I can go fast enough to be an auctioneer. Nice snap suplex by Mankind, takes Darby down. We've reached the point in this contest where these guys are just slamming each other down to the mat and seeing what sticks in terms of punishment.
4. 5.
Mankind grinding the face of Darby into the mat before driving an elbow to the back of his head. Hey, so these guys are just... They're doing whatever sticks at this point. And they're just looking to see whatever sticks at this point.
4.
Mankind sitting down next to Darby, rocking back and forth. Completely legal. I don't think there's anything illegal about that. I think you're allowed to sit down and rock next to your opponent. I mean, yeah, sure, it's kind of taunting him a little bit, but, you know, it could be worse. Darby DDTs the leg of Mankind. Interesting offensive choice in this one, but then again, not dumb, because it keeps Mankind off his feet, and if he's having a hard time walking, that's going to give him an even tougher time standing and reaching a 10 count. Very smart move by Darby Allin. Referee reaching the count of 6. Do we got 7? We got 7. Do we got 8? Do we got 8? Do we got 8? Do we got 8? We got 8. We got 8. We got 8. No 9. No 9. No 9. Mankind's back up to his feet. No 9. No 9. No 9. I guess I'm okay when I say no. Mankind following Darby out to the apron. What is going to happen here? DDT on the hardest part of the ring. The steel framing, and now following it up by bouncing Darby's head off the protective mats. Yeah, there might be mats there, but still, that's head bouncing. Yeah, not as bad as bouncing it off the pavement, but still not great either. I've had my head bounced off mats on the floor outside of the ring. It's no walk in the park. It's like taking a walk in the park and falling and bumping your head on some cushy grass and some soft sand. It still sucks.
5.
Mankind was down to the count of 5. Darby follows back out, and he gets met with all the offense he can handle from Mankind. Oh, nice step over. Heel kick to the face of Mankind. He ate that one big time, right to the face. Mankind is down. The referee is counting. I wonder, will this be enough to keep Mankind down? These two have just been going back and forth, slamming each other, punching each other in the skull. really trying to end each other here. Referee has now reached a count of 8 in this one. Mankind is stirring a little bit. The arm was moving, and we reach the count of 10 as Darby Allin wins this last man standing match here this week in Fantasy Warfare. It was a step over heel kick to the mush of Mankind that finally did it here in this last man standing match. But the action this week here in Fantasy Warfare rolls on. Coming up next, it will be a battle of the bald men with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Black trunks, black boots, bald skulls, and goatees galore as Goldberg goes one-on-one with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Coming up next here on Fantasy Warfare.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Intercontinental Championship.
Welcome back to Fantasy Warfare. The action rolls on this week with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Security banged on the door. Goldberg probably banged his head on the wall a few times, and here he comes looking to gain a piece of championship gold he has never held before. Here comes the fire-breathing dragon himself, standing in the midst of it, breathing in all the sparks, all the smoke, getting ready for battle. As we said, a championship he's never held before, the Intercontinental Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin holds 2 different championships currently here in Fantasy Warfare. Champion's prerogative allowed him to choose. He opted to put the Intercontinental Championship on the line, especially where there was already a ladder match for the WWF Championship earlier today in Fantasy Warfare. Austin decided to give Goldberg a crack at a title he's never held. And he does that here today in our semi-main event here on Fantasy Warfare. The main event coming up next will be for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in an Extreme Rules match. Kenny Omega defending his title against Roman Reigns. Completely random and out of place, but we'll throw it in here in the commentary. LegalZoom should really take a look at who their customer base are before they send out certain emails. Just going to throw that out there as a general piece of random commentary, as this commentator was checking his email during some of the entrances here. We run in businesses, baby. We got to keep on top of things, seeing when, talents might want to come into Fantasy Warfare and other things of that sort. Anyway, Stone Cold Steve Austin making his way out to the ring here at Fantasy Warfare with the Intercontinental Championship in tow. He left the old Big Eagle in the back here today as he comes out with the Intercontinental Championship, a title he first won in 1997. Under unfortunate circumstances when he had his neck broken by Owen Hart. He would hang on to the title for about a month before the inevitable happened where he had to forfeit the title. Owen Hart would go on to win the title. Steve Austin would later win that championship back a second time at the 1997 Survivor Series, and we'll talk about what happened with that after the ring introductions for this title bout.
Introducing the challenger from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 270 pounds, Goldberg! And introducing the champion from Victoria, Texas, weighing in at 252 pounds, he is the Intercontinental Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin!
Ring introductions are done. The formalities are out of the way. All that's left is what we are seeing now, the surrendering of the championship gold, Let's let Goldberg take his look. Almost not interested in it. A very highly anticipated matchup between Goldberg and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Goldberg heard it for years when he debuted. Oh, you're just Stone Cold Steve Austin wannabe. You want to be like Austin. Oh, hey, you look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Goldberg has even talked about how it used to get on his nerves. So he's always wanted this match. Austin's wanted this match. It never happened in reality, unfortunately, due to time, due to injuries, due to not being in the same place at the same time. But here today in Fantasy Warfare, Goldberg gets that shot at winning the Intercontinental Championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin. And as we talked about prior to the ring introductions, Stone Cold Steve Austin won that championship for a second time at the 1997 Survivor Series, defeating the man who nearly paralyzed him yet again, Owen Hart. I say yet again because he defeated Owen Hart the very first time for the Intercontinental Championship and then defeated him the second time at the 1997 Survivor Series. However, Stone Cold Steve Austin becomes so popular at that point in time that he has started to set his eyes on the World Wrestling Federation Championship, and it would be on an episode of Monday Night Raw that yours truly happened to be in attendance for, that Stone Cold Steve Austin would throw the Intercontinental Championship off of a bridge. He'd throw it off the bridge during that episode of Raw and then move on to focusing on the WWF Championship. Of course, when he threw it off the bridge, he had already been stripped of the gold by Vince McMahon, who was in the very early days of his Mr. McMahon character. But here today, Goldberg looks to keep that belt from being thrown in the bridge a second time as he goes one-on-one with Steve Austin. Now we turn our focus to the action of the ring that has been dominated by Goldberg thus far. Stone Cold Steve Austin has not been able to get out of the box when it comes to offense, and Goldberg here today. And Goldberg now looking to wrap this one up quick and easy. He's poised for the spear. Big-time spear. Takes down Steve Austin. Usually after that, we get to the jackhammer, and then we get to the celebrating. Well, here we go. He's going for the jackhammer. But Steve Austin's able to counter it. Stone Cold counters the jackhammer and turns it into a German suplex. Steve Austin saving his championship gold and then following it up with a Lou Thesz press on top of Goldberg. Austin down into the cover. Referee gets the count of 2, and that's all we get for the count of 2 as Goldberg is able to kick out. Stunner by Austin. Austin hits the stunner. This could be all for Goldberg's hopes of being the Intercontinental Champion. Referee with a count of 2, and that's all we get as Goldberg gets his shoulder up right before the referee came down for that count of 3. Austin would have walked away with the Intercontinental title still intact, still being a double champion here in Fantasy Warfare. Nice clothesline by Goldberg, takes Austin down to the mat. Goldberg's got Austin up on his shoulders, bringing him over to the corner, Snake Eyes style. Yes, it is Snake Eyes style. Drops Austin down, face first onto the turnbuckle. Goldberg getting a little dirty on that one. Driving the foot into the throat of Austin, typically an offense that could get you a 5 count. But it was just to weaken Austin for yet another spear attempt. There it is, a second spear by Goldberg. Opting not to follow it up with a jackhammer this time. Down into the cover, and Austin kicks out of the spear. Makes you wonder if maybe Goldberg should have in fact gone for the jackhammer after the spear. But either way, Goldberg, he's got him hooked and he's going for the jackhammer now. He's got him up and Austin counters it one more time. That's 2 jackhammer attempts that have been countered by Stone Cold Steve Austin here in this title match with Bill Goldberg. That frustration's going to be setting in, folks. Goldberg's go-to move, the jackhammer, has put away hundreds of competitors in his professional wrestling career, but here in this contest, he can't even hit one on Stone Cold Steve Austin, who heads up to the top rope and is perched and waiting on Goldberg. He's calling for him to get up to his feet. Wow! What the hell was that? It almost looked like Austin was trying for a Lou Thesz press, but almost a modified Meteora, hitting the Stone Cold Stunner on Goldberg. Referee there for the cover. And no, it's not. I thought that was it. Fans chanting for more. They want more, more, more. As Austin rains down with the punches, now bringing Goldberg back up to a standing base. Got him up on the shoulders. Goldberg down on the back and delivers a chop block. I wonder where he learned that one. Maybe he learned that in the playing days in the NFL. Goldberg, a former NFL football star. Using that power on Steve Austin. He's got him by the ears, throwing him around the ring, just grabbing him repeatedly, going a third time. Is Goldberg going to just try to throw? I thought he was going to try to throw Austin in a literal circle around the ring. Goldberg is like a shark that smells blood. He is now going to go for a third spear attempt on Steve Austin here today. Boom! A third spear by Goldberg onto Steve Austin. Referee down into the cover. We get one, we get two, and that's all we get again. The spear cannot put away Steve Austin here today on Fantasy Warfare. And now Goldberg is waiting. He is poised. He's going for the jackhammer. Can he actually hit it this time? Or will Austin be able to counter it? No, he's not. No counter this time. Goldberg with a jackhammer. Referee 2. And that's not a 3 count. That's only a 2 3/4 as Austin is able to kick out. Austin blocked the punch at Goldberg, returned it with one of his own, and then a beautiful power slam. Dragon screw by Goldberg. Goldberg well-versed in mixed martial arts. Putting that on display there. We're used to just seeing power out of Bill. Locking up. Irish whip sends Goldberg across and over the top rope and down to the floor. Goldberg is down, collecting his breath. Steve Austin not giving him much time to collect his breath as he continues taking the fight to Goldberg on the floor. Oh, nice chop by Austin, continuing to hammer away on Bill Goldberg. Suplex attempt. Nope, Goldberg blocks it. Nope, he doesn't block it. No block on that one. Goldberg gets taken over with a vertical suplex by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Referee reaching the count of 4. Goldberg into the guardrail. Nasty hit there as Stone Cold Steve Austin talking that trash from the ring, and the referee reaching the count of 5. Goldberg now approaching back to the ring, looking to break that count, and he does, but Austin rolls out to the ring, kind of curious, but he comes right back into the ring. Boot to the midsection by Austin. Another boot. Goldberg grabs him. Got him up on the shoulders. Yikes! Big old throw down to the floor from the ring over the top rope. That could not have felt good on the spine of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, there he goes, grabbing him by the ears again. Grabbing that poor guy by the ears and throwing him around outside the ring into the ring post and steps as Goldberg gets back into the ring once again. Waiting on Steve Austin. Goldberg back out to the floor, breaking that referee's count. I don't think either man wants a non-decisive victory here. I think both men want to be able to walk away and say, I pinned the other, or I made that guy tap out, or I knocked him out. Stone Cold Stunner by Austin. We get a cover, referee rushing around into position, count of 2, and Goldberg kicks out of the stunner. Fans showering them with affection with both these guys chant, and I got to agree. It's been one hell of a contest between Goldberg and Austin, and Goldberg just snatched Austin out of nowhere into the jackhammer. Down he goes with the jackhammer. Goldberg with the cover on Austin. We get a count of 2, and we get 3. We've got a brand new Intercontinental Champion. We've had 2 titles defended this week, and we've had 2 titles change hands. Of course, we can't really count the ECW title because there was no champion coming into that, but 2 defending champions have fallen here today. Could that be the fate of our next defending champion in our main event. Coming up next for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, it will be an Extreme Rules match between Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega. It's coming up next, our Fantasy Warfare main event.
Here is your winner and new Intercontinental Champion, Goldberg! The following contest is an Extreme Rules match and is for the International Wrestling Grand Prix Heavyweight Championship.
Welcome back to ringside. It is main event time for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. The two combatants in this match have been at each other's throats for weeks. It all started inside of Hell in a Cell, with respective factions going to war with one another. It was the Elite, and it was the Bloodline. And in the end, it was the Bloodline who stood tall over the Elite. But the two key members of each faction would disappear and fight off into the stands. And for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, 7 of them to be exact, Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega have been at each other's throats everywhere they have gone. They have had to be separated in catering, in the locker room, at travel, at the gym, at the hotel, you name it. They have had to be separated in these various places over these last few weeks. And then last week, at the very end of the show, after the debut of Bray Wyatt here in Fantasy Warfare, our cameras finally caught a brawl between Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega. And it was Kenny Omega who actually left that brawl standing tall. Hey, look at that rhyme. Kenny Omega left the brawl standing tall after dropping Roman Reigns on the back of his head in the backstage area last week. And it was as a result of that near career-ending brawl for those two men that Fantasy Warfare management stepped in and said, hey, we know that we have said that the February episodes are all about viewer's choice, but this one needs to be settled. In a show that has been about fantasy matchups, things that we have never been able to see before, it has been quite interesting to see an actual grudge form out of nowhere between two of the most pivotal pro wrestlers to ever step foot inside of a pro wrestling ring. And here today, under Extreme Rules, which means there really aren't any rules other than you gotta finish your opponent in the ring, these two will settle it with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. This is going to be one hell of a contest. Kenny Omega originally won this championship in a ladder match with Kurt Angle earlier in this season. And here today, he will look to continue the reign as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion by dispatching of Roman Reigns in the same fashion that he dispatched of him last week. But of course, dispatching of Roman Reigns is no easy task. But Kenny Omega is no professional wrestler to be discounted despite the status of one Roman Reigns. Kenny Omega walking in proudly with that IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And he will look to walk out of Fantasy Warfare with that IWGP World Heavyweight Championship still intact after this week's main event here on Fantasy Warfare. It's been one hell of a week of action. We started it off with chaos inside of a steel cage, and we are going to conclude it with chaos inside the ring under Extreme Rules.
Introducing the challenger from Pensacola, Florida, weighing in at 265 pounds, Roman Reigns! And introducing the champion from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, weighing in at 227 pounds, he is the International Wrestling Grand Prix Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega!
The introductions are through. We know who will be doing battle. It's the head of the table. It's the cleaner. Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega. It's our Fantasy Warfare main event as the referee shows Roman Reigns the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now showing it to the crowd here in Orlando, Florida. Of course, next week, Fantasy Warfare will be coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. That's right, we're taking it on the road each and every week for the remainder of the season. Next week we'll be in Atlanta, the week after that in Houston. And then our final 3 shows of the season will be Denver, Seattle, and the season finale in Chicago. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. This week we're in Orlando, and this is our main event here as Roman Reigns rains down. But he gets caught trying to kick Omega's face off, and Omega takes him back down to the mat. Oh, and Omega shows Reigns how it's done. Oh, Reigns with the counter. I thought we were getting a little Kapalza action there, but nothing going on there. Nice shot to the body. Multiple shots to the body by Roman Reigns. Backing Kenny Omega up. Oh, nice knee strike. I pluralized it when I meant to say knee strike. Hey, I'm not a perfect commentator. I ain't making the Michael Cole bucks. And even that bro messes up all the time. And he's one of the best. So there we go. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd say Michael Cole is one of the best, but you got to give the man credit where credit is due. Over what, 25 years in the business? You got to give him his due. But who is not getting his due right now is Kenny Omega, who is being brutalized by the tribal chief who looks to walk away with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship here today in Fantasy Warfare. As we noted earlier on today, any champions who exit Season 1 with their gold will remain the champion entering Season 2. What the? Why is Edge out here? Edge has come to the ring. Is this like a Canadian connection thing between Kenny Omega and Edge? Edge literally causing a distraction on Kenny Omega and Roman Reigns match. That was weird. It was enough to grab Edge's attention, but it was not enough to do anything major. Edge is already headed to the back. That was weird. I don't even know what to make of that. That was an interesting appearance from Edge. Coming out to the ring with no music, nothing at all, just kind of appearing. It caught Reigns' attention. Of course, Roman Reigns and Edge, no strangers to each other from their days in WWE, headlining a WrestleMania along with Bryan Danielson, then known as Daniel Bryan. Gotta wonder what Edge's purpose was coming out here and causing a distraction, especially one that wasn't really all that effective. Omega, oh, nice. Suplex takes the head of the table down, but Reigns is already back up on his feet. He's got Omega on the shoulders, down across the top rope. The lone kendo stick that made an appearance in this match is already out on the floor. We put the Extreme Rules tag on this one to allow these guys all the freedom in the world to beat the living hell out of each other, but so far it looks like their fists and their feet are doing the job. Nice springboard moonsault by Omega. Reigns with a snap suplex takes the cleaner down. Now bringing Omega back up to his feet to a standing base. Goes for the lockup, but Omega ducked. And Omega is just kicking away. Locks up himself. Going for a... Nope, I thought it was a pile driver, but we got a power bomb instead into a cover. And Omega getting a little frustrated after that one. His IWGP World Heavyweight Championship is on the line here if he cannot walk away with the gold. That would be a rather disheartening... Oh, and Roman Reigns has been cracked open with that ladder. Busted wide open with the edge of the ladder and then sent head first into the ring post. I was going to say that'd be very disheartening for Kenny Omega. First, the Elite loses to the Bloodline in that Hell in a Cell match earlier this season. And then if Roman Reigns were to take the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship away from Omega, that would kind of be a statement on which faction is a little stronger here. And the Edge would have to go to the Bloodline. It's funny we say the Edge, considering we had that random appearance from Edge just a few moments ago. Omega over the top rope. Reigns coming after him. But Omega is able to hit him with a forearm shot. Springboard drop kick takes Reigns down. Omega into the cover. Referee there, great position, but Reigns kicks out at the count of one. We don't even get two. Didn't even get two on that one. Reigns with a snapmare on Omega off the ropes. Nice kick to the face of Omega. Omega quickly back on his feet. He gets hit with a Superman punch out of nowhere by Roman Reigns, and Omega kicks out. Looked for sure like Omega was done with the Superman punch. What's Reigns waiting for now? Oh, it's the guillotine choke. He's got him locked in that guillotine choke. And he taps out. Kenny Omega taps out, and we have a brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Roman Reigns. What a main event contest between these two. I still want to know why Edge made an appearance during this one, why he just walked out, no music, no pomp, no circumstance, very un-pro wrestling of him. Causing a distraction, an ineffective one at that, but it does not change the end result that we have a brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Roman Reigns. What a night of action here on Fantasy Warfare. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we're going to close out this week's show, so don't you dare go anywhere. Fantasy Warfare rolls on in just a moment.
Brand 3 Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns!
What an exciting contest that was to close out the action this week here in Fantasy Warfare. Unfortunately for Kenny Omega, it was not a victory, and he now leaves Fantasy Warfare as the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns now holding that crown as this week comes to a close. But Kenny Omega might be suffering from a loss. Another man who suffered from a loss will be featured in our main event next week here in Fantasy Warfare. In the main event of next week's show, it will be title for title. It will be Stone Cold Steve Austin, the man who lost his Intercontinental Championship earlier tonight to Goldberg. He's got one more title on his hands, and it's the Big Eagle WWE Championship, and he will defend that title against Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the WCW World Heavyweight Championship next week, title for title, right here on Fantasy Warfare. I'd like to thank you all for joining me for another exciting episode of Fantasy Warfare. I have been your host, Bloody Bill Vox. You can find me on social media across all the land at Bloody Bill Vox. And until next week, you kids keep it safe out there, and then come on back next Friday night, right here at youtube.com/@BloodyBillVox for another brand new episode of WWE 2K22 Fantasy Warfare, and I will see you at ringside.